Could you possibly rewind and come again?
What's going on, people? Level Up Media. So in this episode I'll be speaking about an R&B trio by the name of Brownstone. I would describe Brownstone as a very wholesome, high quality group who were solidified on the scene but were very much in the background and were not as prominent as their two iconic contemporaries, SWV and TLC. Brownstone were formed in 1994 in Los Angeles, California. They chose the name Brownstone to represent strength, stability, and a solid foundation. Like I just said, that's exactly what they were, a solidified R&B trio. One of the members stated that the concept of the name is because the earth is brown and stone is solid. 1 year after they were formed, they released their debut album entitled From the Bottom Up, and it was released under Michael Jackson's record label called MJJ Music, who they were signed to at the time. This album featured hit tracks like Grapevine and If You Love Me. I think up until today, those were their most iconic songs. I think Grapevine really showcased their vocal ability. It was characterized by strong vocals and seamless harmonies. If You Love Me was a bit more of an up-tempo jam, but still had their signature strong harmonic vocals on the track. Another track that showcased their vocal potential was the track entitled I Can't Tell You Why. They absolutely bodied that track and they took their harmonies to another level on that one. There's also a male vocalist near the end of the track. I'm not sure who that was, but that track was an absolute banger. The album also featured songs like Don't Cry For Me, which is basically like a power ballad. I love the melody on that one, and their vocal delivery was powerful and emotive. They also had tracks like Ooh La La. That one was more of a soul stroke R&B song. It was yet another amazing vocal performance with a great melody. I also like the beat and the instrumental arrangement. And don't ever let me forget their track entitled Half of You. That song was exceptional and sounds more like a gospel song. I think Brownstone have to be one of the greatest R&B groups of all time at this point, and we can safely say that Brownstone's first album was a high quality piece of work. 2 years after their debut, they released their second album entitled Still Climbing, which featured 12 tracks. My favorite tracks from that album are Around You, All I Do, and You Give Good Love. If you know, then you know. Now, after this, they basically disappeared and returned 9 years later. Shortly after their reunion, one of the founding members, Charmaine Maxey, passed away under very suspicious circumstances, but I'll say no more about that. I understand that Brownstone are still active currently doing live performances. However, I think Brownstone had the potential to be much greater and they still remain relatively unsung in comparison to some of their contemporaries. But if you know anything about music, then you would agree with me that Brownstone are still one of the most iconic groups of all time. So that's all from me. Until the next time, I'll see you on the other side. Peace.